so much for fitting us in. You are so busy, and I want to say this audience, as you can imagine, is so excited about much of the work that you are doing. But let's start off. I want to make sure that I promised your staff, who are so great about the questions we're going to ask you, I want to make sure I stay on script, otherwise I'll get in trouble with them. I think it's on. So we're here today to talk about American digital innovation. And how does America lead as we are evolving in AI, digital assets, blockchain, pretty much any emerging digital technology. And we want you to tell us, what do you think of when you think of successful American leadership, digital leadership? And as your role previously, and we'll get into your role as senator, but your role previously as the county executive of Princess George's County.
Well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. Just really happy to be here this afternoon. And I have to tell you, when you talk about this entire area with cryptocurrency, blockchain, and all the other technologies, I have to confess to you that I came about it because as county executive of Prince George's County, Maryland, I was often in a place of really being concerned about the ways that we would grow economic opportunity. Mm-hmm. And the way that I first became introduced to the concept of cryptocurrency and digital currency was, believe it or not, through young people. I have a 20-year-old daughter, and as I talk to college students and others, they said this is an area that we're very interested in, wanting to make sure that we're able to lean into this area. And so that is the way that I really became introduced to it and became interested in it and decided that I wanted to really participate. But what I have to tell you, first of all, when we talk about success, I think the first important part of success would be making sure that people actually understand what it is. I can tell you that although many of our young people my daughter's age and others know a lot about it, it is the case that most people I talk to are curious but don't know about it. And so success looks like making sure that there is broad awareness about the ways that this entire area of technology and innovation can improve the daily lives of people. I think it's also important that America continues to lead. And that is why I have also become so interested in making sure that I am a leader in this area, along with my colleagues, making sure that America remains strong and that America is leading. And I'm also very interested in making sure that participation is equitable. We want as many people as possible to have an opportunity to participate in this market. And I believe that those are three of the ways that we will be able to consider ourselves successful.
Well, we really appreciate, and that resonates with the majority of folks, I think, in the room here. You have co-sponsored the Genius Bill, and there's some very exciting things happening right now. It just passed cloture, right?
Yes.
I think 6830, yesterday.
Yesterday.
Do you mind talking about why it is that you felt strongly about co-sponsoring and sort of just a bit more about what has happened and what is happening next?
Well, as I mentioned to you, I decided really before I came to the Senate that this was going to be an area that I was going to be interested in working on legislation. And so I was really excited when my colleague, Kirsten Gillibrand, actually approached me and said, you know what, given my position on the banking committee, that this would be an opportunity to co-sponsor this stablecoin legislation. And I thought it was a really great opportunity to really work on some of the priorities we had. And so I agreed to be a part of to be a co-sponsor, lead co-sponsor of the stablecoin bill, which is a great way to start.
Well, thank you very much for that. And there is certainly a lot of activity right now happening on the Senate side. Believe it goes to a vote Monday.
We're looking at next week.
Okay,
yes. Mm-hmm.
Sometime next week.
Yes.
And hopefully we'll have to wait until next week, see how things go. And then what's after that in terms of the discussions you're having with your colleagues? And it would be just great also to get some insights on what are some of the, concern points or places where we think maybe the private sector here could help on education or just going out to their senators, respective senators?
Well, as I mentioned, there were some priorities that we considered as we move forward to what's next. And we know, of course, stablecoin was a great place to start, making payments faster and making it easier for people to engage in the markets. But I think it's also going to be important as we consider things like market structure. To remember some of the core priorities we have. Oh my goodness, we have Senator Ron Watson, who is here, State Senator from Maryland. Thank you so much for being here. But as we think about priorities, I think about economic development, of course, is one of our priorities. Consumer protection is another one of our priorities, in making sure, again, that we are also making it so that others can participate. And these are some of the things that we'll carry into the next discussions regarding market structure, is making sure those priorities are met. This, of course, these are some of the areas that were really important to us at the table around the stablecoin bill. And I was really pleased that we were, in a bipartisan way, able to address a lot of those concerns. The concern, for example, I took up a couple of issues that I decided were going to be really important.
Right.
One of those was around making sure consumer protections were a part of it,
right.
As well as making sure that our community banks were comfortable with what we were doing. These were two major points.
That is an excellent point you're making, the community banks, not forgetting about the local banks that actually serve grassroots level, and this is critical.
Oh, it is critical, and it was an area that was important to me. And what I can tell you is that's why it's important to be at the table. I decided that, in order to make the bill stronger, it was going to require participation. And so I sat at the table. It was a great bipartisan effort. Myself and Kirsten Gillibrand, also working with Senators Lummis and Haggerty.
Yes.
And it was an interesting and lengthy process, but we were able to make the bill stronger because we were actually at the table.
And as you well know, we just had Senator Lummis here with us. And to hear, in almost a perfectly mirror, and I know you guys didn't prescript this because we were talking to everyone, but the fact that you are saying that this truly is a bipartisan effort, it's kind of like music, it's music to my ears, that finally we're aligning and you are aligning and we can get more people to understand this is for the common good and we need to have this.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things my father used to say to me as a kid, and I think he's so right about this, he would often say, how you see something depends on where you sit. And that has been so important to me in the current environment, to remember that because of our backgrounds and the places that we come from across the country, sometimes we don't see every issue exactly the same. But it reminds us to look for places where we can compromise and to remember that, sometimes disagreement is healthy. We come to a better product at the end of it. And so having that mindset has been really important. Now, I have to tell you, these were not always easy discussions. I now know that is not just the youngest among us who sometimes tempers flare. We think about our kids whose tempers flare, and maybe even there might be a tantrum of some sort. But you know what? Sure. I know now adults can have fiery, emotional moments at the negotiation table as well. But the truth is that we never got up from the table, and I think because of that, we're going to be able to come up with a product.
That is amazing. You powered through.
We did power through it, and we're, I think, going to come up with a stronger bill because of the negotiations and because we were there in a bipartisan way.
Wow, thank you so much, Senator, for really, stepping in and taking, really a leadership role in making sure that it's crafted to have the other voices at the table that, frankly, may or may not have been there as well. We're going to switch to the states because, as you've identified correctly, we actually have a number of elected state representatives. We have a Secretary of State. We have state representatives from a GBBC standpoint who represent our blockchain associations at the state level. And we firmly believe in grassroots, states' rights, things being done not only top down, but also local level. I would love for you to share, and by the way, there's some Maryland folks in the House, as well as our Maryland blockchain rep, but I would love for you to share from a state's perspective, What is special about states in terms of, what you can get done at the state level versus like federal, for example?
Well, there's a lot to say about the state level, but before I say that, and because I have the attention of so many leaders in the blockchain area, I do have an ask. I had to come here. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't have an ask.
Oh, there we go. We like that.
So are you all ready?
All right.
I do have an ask of you that I think is going to be extremely important. It is that I would like everyone in this audience to help make sure that not only I, but my colleagues and others understand how blockchain is used to improve everyday lives. I have to tell you that most people do not understand that. I'm going to ask everyone in this industry to please lean in and help us to not only educate my colleagues about the ways that it can be used to improve their lives, but also to help the general public. I'll give you a quick example. In Baltimore,
sure,
we are using blockchain
yeah,
to help us eliminate vacant properties in Baltimore. We're using this technology to help us to track it and to understand the inventory of vacant properties that we have. This is just one example of the ways that we can use blockchain to really help us improve the daily lives of people, but most people do not understand that.
That is amazing.
So there are things that we can get done on the state level. We'll continue working to do that. I think Maryland is a really important and wonderful place for us to continue to grow these technologies. When you think about the assets that we have in Maryland, including biotechnology, when we think about the many, many research universities that are present in the state of Maryland, and think of all the medical uses, this is a really great place for all of you to look at Maryland as a great partner, and to make sure that we are able, again, to continue to grow the technology and to use it to help so many.
Well, that is wonderful to hear. Everyone's got an assignment. But also, just to let you know, GBBC just dropped last night our 101 real-world blockchain use cases handbook. That is literally is public domain now, but it will go out to all government agencies and folks for that primary reason. What is the problem? What is the solution? And why should society care? Because it's doing something to help solve a problem.
It is, and one of the big problems, if you give me just a second to add this in as well, I have spoken extensively with people, not just in my state, but I think as I encounter people in general, they are interested in economic opportunity. This is the number one concern. I don't care where I have gone.
Yep.
And in this environment where we're going to have to learn how to work together, it is also the case that I think Americans expect people like me to not only work on a defensive strategy, we have to have an offense that says, what are we delivering for people? And this is one of the ways that we have an opportunity, I think, to create opportunities for more and more people to participate in economic markets that will increase the bottom line for them and their families.
Well, I didn't realize that I would be learning about a brand new use case on stage here with the senator, but we're going to have to talk to you have to connect us with the right people, but about your use case in Maryland with the vacant lots or properties, because that's fascinating. Well, we're going to have to catalog
We'll be happy to do it. We'll be happy to do it. We have members of our team who are here today. Perrin is here as we talk. Perrin Brown, who's having a conversation.
Perrin's like, no, I'm going to go behind the tower over there.
One of our
Hi,
policy
Perrin.
advisors who is spearheading our efforts on this stablecoin bill. He's worked extremely hard on it. He's excited about it and all of these technologies. So Perrin is here, as well as Connor is here as well, working on our communications team in Antoinette. But yeah, I'd be happy to connect and give more information about the example in Baltimore.
Wonderful. And do you guys notice that the senator is always pointing that direction because the person who has been doing the stablecoin work is standing right there. Chris Land was there earlier today. Perrin, thank you so much. Connor, thank you so much. Really applaud you guys for all your hard work. We know there's been a long slog.
Yes, but you know what? But this is great progress. Again, we're just really excited about the future. Crypto, AI, blockchain, very excited about the future and really glad to be working with my colleagues to see some progress.
Well, on another occasion, when we have a little bit more time, we'll have to bring you back on the AI point. But for now, I want to just end with, we love backstories and around here, at least I do, and we love origin stories. You've been now senator for a number of months. Can you share with us some of your thoughts and experiences?
Well, you know what? So you're right. It's been 6 months. I can barely believe it. The time has gone by so quickly. When people ask me what it is that shocks me about my time in the Senate, I can tell you so far, one of the real delights has been that I have found the Senate to be a place that is very collegial. I have enjoyed the professional environment. As I mentioned to you, I don't expect that we'll agree on every single issue. But I have certainly found that it's been a place that's been collegial. I've been able to develop relationships both within my party and across the line there. And I've really enjoyed the issues, enjoyed really just digging in. As you've mentioned, I've been an executive. And I have to tell you that, that's a different experience because I've been, really working on issues that now I get to work on a policy level.
Right.
But I understand the practical impact of many of those policies, and it is our job to make the lives of the people that we serve better every day. I'll have to just tell you this and end here. The other thing that is surprising to me, as an executive, I set my own schedule. So this business about voting at 4 o'clock in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, it's just like, what are we doing right now? This is the only part of it that I have to tell you is a little unsettling. But we go in, we lean in on it, but they say, well, the next vote will be called at 1:30 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
It's my goodness, at 4 o'clock in the morning, so a lot of work to be done, but it's all worth it. And thank you again for having me today, and we look forward to staying in touch.
We are really grateful to you. And see, you learned something new. They have to vote at like odd hours, so you're on call. This is it. You got to go. You got to go. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, everyone.
Everyone, round of applause for the Senator. Thank you.
Thank you so much.